Bring to us your poetry from inspiration sought. Come join us with your images, your verses, words, and thought. From here, we'll share your balladry with those who do not know it. This platform's here for you to show the world that you're the poet.
Welcome to episode 46 of You're the Poet, the poetry podcast featuring you. I'm host Matt Burgio, and I'm here with co-host Phil Burgio. Phil, welcome.
Anytime.
Here at You're the Poet, our purpose is to share our love of poetry with the world and invite you to do the same. I want to start by saying thank you to all of our listeners who have made You're the Poet possible. We hope you enjoyed the podcast and the poetry that is shared here. Our featured guest for this episode of You're the Poet is Brandon Adamhaven, who is joining us from Rockford, Illinois. Brandon, welcome to You're the Poet.
Thanks for having me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're glad you could join us, and we look forward to your contribution to the episode. To start things off, I'm going to turn it over to Phil to share a classic poem for the episode.
Okay, a lot of people wouldn't consider this a poem because I got it from a non-poetry source. It's the libretto from La Traviata, the drinking song. It was written by Francisco Maria Piave. He was a librettist. He did a lot of work for Verdi. He also did work for Puccini and other opera composers. He was born in Venice, 18th of May, 1810, and he died March 5th, 1876. He was also a journalist and a resident poet, too. He did at least 10 Verdi operas. So this is from La Traviata. It's not the whole thing, but if you're familiar with the opera, it's the drinking song. I'm just going to read two stanzas, one from Alfredo, the lead male, and one from Violetta, the lead female. Let's drink from the joyous chalice where beauty flowers. Let the fleeting hour to pleasure's intoxication yield. Let's drink to love's sweet tremors, to those eyes that pierce the heart. Let's drink to love, to wine that warms our kisses. And Violetta's response, with you I would share my days of happiness. Everything is folly in this world that does not give us pleasure. Let us enjoy life, for the pleasures of love and swiftly and fleeting. It's a flower that lives and dies and can be enjoyed no more. Let's take our pleasures while its ardent, brilliant summons lures us on. Francisco Maria Piave. I picked that because I've been getting into opera, and I've always liked the music, but I never paid any attention to the libretto. And when I started looking at the translations, some good poetry there.
Yeah, not something I was familiar with. I mean, I'm familiar with some of Verdi's operas, but not specifically this one or the drinking song in it.
If you heard the drinking song, you'd recognize it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I liked it there, and I liked how she talks about for the pleasures of love are swift and fleeting. I liked that line in there.
Yeah, there's such a pour of emotion in it, but it's so eloquently delivered. I love it.
Yeah, you got to hear it sung.
Yeah, I would have to hear this song for sure.
But like I said, it's very poetic.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why it was chosen. Plus, opera's on my brain the past couple of weeks. So,
That's awesome.
Very cool. All right, well, from here, I'm going to share a poem for the episode. This is just a basic ballad that I wrote for my wife. The speaker in the poem is just laying there in bed next to his lover, seeing her in the candlelight. It's called Our Love Within the Flame. I see you in the flickering light, the candle's softest glow, illuminating beauty there against the bed's pillow. The image captivates my heart, it warms me to a smile. I gaze while lying next to you, I stay there for a while. I realize my love runs deep, this isn't just some game. I see the future and I see our love within the flame. Both you and I walk side by side, creating life as one, and you're the partner that I want till life on earth is done. Let's build this life for you and me, together as a team, and make the most of everything that we could ever dream. So dream, my girl, of wondrous things, and I will do the same. I'll always see your beauty and our love within the flame. Matthew Burgio.
got me teary-eyed here, thinking of your mom.
Yeah, I've noticed love poetry does that to you recently.
Well, I always think of your mother when I hear it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, that's a straight pour of the heart. I mean, that really speaks for itself. Just full of heartfelt emotion and love, you know?
Mm.
Yeah, nothing too complicated there. Just a basic, straightforward ballad, like you said.
Yep. But you feel it. I mean, it gets you in the feels. It kind of melts you when you read it.
Yep.
It was very well written.
Thank you.
Of course.
All right, from there, we're going to turn it back over to Phil to share his poem for the episode. Phil?
I'm sure you've been experienced this nasty heat the past couple of weeks that we have. Finally, it's a little cooler though, but I wrote this while I was melting outside.
Mm.
Summer heat. I yearn for a cool autumn breeze, relief from the summer's oppressive heat. Not a freezing icy blast, but just enough to tame the fire. Even now a brief rain will do, a temporary reprieve from misery. But all too soon summer's abuse returns, to tease and remind that relief is remote. Longing for the crisp cool air that looms ahead in future months. I will endure the humid days, and though it's not that cruel, it is what we should expect in summertime. And later in winter's ice and snow, we will think the heat wasn't all that bad. Philip Burgio.
All right, thank you for sharing. Yeah, I like that. Definitely feeling the heat here. And I know, Brandon, you're kind of on the same plane we are, so I'm sure you've been feeling all this heat.
Yes, I have. I love the poem. I like your last lines, how you end it. And later in winter's ice and snow, we will think the heat wasn't all that bad. I hear that all too often. That was so clever and cheeky.
Yeah, I totally agree there. And I think you have the line in here too about how that's what we expect in the summer. And I always try to keep that frame of mind that, like, well, it's summer.
Summertime. Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be hot. It's supposed to be humid and sweaty. So at least here in the Midwest. But yeah, well done on that one, capturing this heat wave we've been having. All right, from here, we're going to turn it over to our guest portion of the episode. Brandon, you're the poet. Show us what you've got.
Okay, so the first poem I'll be reading from my first book, which we can go over when you ask more about it, but this is called Ethereal Sunset. Into a dreamy starched field full of soft broom, an ethereal sunset in the sky doth hover and gloom, as the beforming shadow of night slowly creeps o'er the daisies, the lilacs, and the brightest lilies. I ponder in thought at this very profound sight, as I wave goodbye to the day and welcome the night. The stars gleaming effulgence, warm within thy hands, pulsating through my heart, this rich, warm demand. Oh, the moon now, so full and bright, I ponder with weariness at this profound sight. The night crickets chirp as the gentle wind blows. I lay down my head, and then I start to doze. But not for long, for soon I awake, as I wave goodbye to the night, to welcome the day. Brandon Adam Haven.
All right, thank you for sharing. I liked how you used it twice there. I say one of my favorite lines was that I wave goodbye to the day and welcome the night. And then I like how you came back to that at the end to wave goodbye to the night and welcome the day. But the concept of waving goodbye to them, I thought that was neat.
Yes, unusual imagery, I suppose.
I got the impression of a 19th century poet.
Nice.
You should be sitting there like in sepia tones. Very good. I like that. It was very good.
Thank you so much.
Got another one for us?
Yeah. My next one is called Ashes in the Wind. Hovering o'er the decayed straw beset, shadowing a mountainous hill on the terrain. Thunder loudly roars. The ground becomes wet as lightning crashes loud enough to wake even the dead. A mortal sin, undefined, holding an intense rage inside, bludgeoning wearily my conscience within. I ponder forth, scattering her ashes in the wind. I feel deep in my soul, dreadful wrath, uncontrolled, forbidding thoughts deep into the Stygian of ire, eyes of fire, mortality expired, plummeting in the perception of hallucination excelled. I tremble, yet am quell, gentle anguish foretells. Amid the trench of the valley basin, flooded and desolate, loudly atoned, withering anew, chastised motions groan, scattering deep into the humid, mournful dew. My love, now free from her skin, the tornfulness within. In what pilgrimage I lay embracing her fate, but still feeling intense vexation within. I ponder forth, scattering her ashes deep into the loud, stormy wind. By Brandon Adam Haven.
All right, thank you.
I like the way you brought some Greek mythology into that. That happens a lot to people that have been on. they'll make references to Greek mythology.
Yeah, when I'm weaving a poem, I like throwing as much into it as I can.
I like that, weaving a poem.
Yeah, a lot of good imagery there and a lot of good just descriptions of this storm. Can tell you're dealing with a storm without flat out saying that you're in a storm. Just the way, like the thunderous roars and the ground getting wet and things like that. Very good descriptions there and some really good lines. I like that plummeting into the perception of hallucination excelled. I thought that was a great line. Now I've got to ask, is this about scattering someone's ashes? Is this an actual, like, the speaker is out there scattering someone's ashes of a lost love?
So I try to always write, and you'll see a lot of the poems from me. I try to write in ways where different people can get different things. This can be totally symbolic for something else someone's going through, or it can be very direct, especially with the strong imagery I tried to put in it. How I wrote it, I did kind of follow the imagery, but I've heard a couple different takeaways from this and other poems alike that really were intriguing, actually. I would have never thought of composing it.
Well, that's what I love about poetry is that it really speaks to the reader and that you can get different things out of it. Because even with this, I was like, well, I kind of got that spreading of the ashes, but also I was kind of actually thinking too of a volcano with the storms and these loud thunderous things, like, the ashes coming out of a volcano. I thought it was neat how there was those different perspectives. I was just kind of curious as to what, as the author, you were thinking about at the time.
Yeah, of course.
Could be scattering emotional ashes,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. As long as people are taken away from the poetry, it's doing its job. That's what I always say.
Amen.
No.
Before we get on to that third one, tell us a little bit about what you've been up to. Tell us
about your book.
Yeah,
absolutely. So the book that just came out, so these are all part of a trilogy. Into the Gray came out in 2021, which is just basically a recall of all my years of addiction. I was a former alcohol, heroin addict. I used to do hard drugs. I've been clean 10 years now.
Congrats. Good.
Anywhere from periods of homelessness to overdoses to just kind of being on a rampage against myself. It's just kind of journaled in this book. My second book, This Broken Home, I was going through things as well, but it represents the brokenness of the world. That's what I try to put in this book. It's a horror-themed book, but it has a lot of gut punchers. And my book that just came out is Bellowing to a Lost Echo. My father died September 16th last year, and I had, relationship problems, a bunch of stuff going on, and just even hitting a point in my sobriety, like, I feel stuck and lost in life. I ended up having a breakdown that was pretty bad. And yeah, I wrote half of this book during that and half of it when I came out of it. So it's an odd book, but I poured a lot into this. This is more the gut puncher, I would say, the conclusion book.
A great title, by the way.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
Oh, sorry to steal the line. A great title, though, for that book, Bellowing to a Lost Echo. I like that. Now, are these available for purchase online? Or can people find these online?
Yeah, so you can definitely find these on Amazon, I know, and you can get copies from Wheelsong6@gmail.com as well.
Familiar with Wheelsong, yeah.
All right, yeah, we'll definitely share links for that, for both Wheelsong and for those books on Amazon so people can find them.
Thank you so much.
Tell us a little bit about your poetic journey. What got you into writing? How long you've been writing?
So I come from a broken home. I was abused, all this bad stuff. And then at a young age, I kind of turning away from the world as I felt I never fit in it. So I found solace in being in a heavy metal band, drugs, and all this stuff. Well, during lyric writing and when I was composing music, I started penning poems. First, they were pretty dark and morbid, but I kept at it for years and years and just kept owning my craft. At first, I looked at it from an entertainment kind of lens, but I had no clue at the time just how deep and personal it was going to become with me. And literally, it became so personal that poetry and music literally kept me alive through certain parts of my life.
Great.
So yeah, absolutely what I've been through affects what I write. I'm trying to reach others with what I'm writing. I'm burying shameful things I've been to, anything, in hopes that I can reach others, comfort them, let them know that they're not alone, let them know that there is hope still, no matter what dark pit they're in, no matter what they're addicted to, whether you're at death's door or not, there's hope still.
And it's great to have poetry out there that people can relate to, that they can read. They can be, well, I've been in that situation. And I think that's a very powerful thing for people.
Yes, yes. I want to both relate to people and especially hit the ones that I am relating to, but the ones I'm not even, I want to bring awareness, so they can kind of maybe see these things under a different lens if they ever occur in their life.
Nice. Tell us, too, I see online that you do a lot of work with the Invisible Poets. Tell us what you're involved with there.
Well, I stepped down now, but I was an admin at Invisible Poets. I'm still in the community. I was an administrator there for a while. I was there since Steve started it. I was with Steve in Wheelsong Poetry before Invisible Poets, running that with him.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a wonderful community full of wonderful people.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
It really is.
Gotten to know quite a few of those poets and looking forward to knowing more of them.
Yeah, they're good people.
Okay, got another one for us.
Yes, I do. So this is from the third one, Bellowing to Lost Echo. This one is called The Merciful Night. I hear the wind wisp to a summer gale, readying my heart for its sorrow, trying to mend what's broken inside as I mourn the folding morrow. I see the cult of dawn and glee, myself feeling low and desolate, but I look upon the tired heavens to abolish both love and hate. Life is so frail, worn through my skin. I've never belonged nor believed. Shedding deceit to the torn within, melting facades with no relief. Hibernating into my insecurities, I'll go and find a place to lay and die. I've abandoned man's sureties. Now I await the merciful night. By Brandon Adam Haven.
That's kind of deep.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, brought that out good, though.
Thank you.
Yeah, very well written and very well read.
Thank you.
Do you do poetry readings at different places?
Oh, yeah, I do. I was doing poetry readings on Invisible every single week. So, yeah, I got used to performing them. I went from reading them to trying to perform them.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen some of those online with the Invisible Poets. There's a lot of deep stuff here. That was well written and well connected there. Definitely kind of feel that sense of loneliness, that sense of loss. Thank you for sharing these. Is there anything else you want to say before we end the episode?
For anyone watching and following me, I just wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Some of the people I've known since 2020, 2021, they've been with me on different periods of this journey, and I'm proud to be a part of theirs as well. And please tune into these guys as well at You're the Poet. Thank you guys so much for having me on here. I'm so grateful.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you. All right, and as we move on, we got a little bit of feedback for this episode. This is on episode 42 with Jay Michelson from Just Nina on Spotify. Hi, this kind of sharing his inner, most hidden thoughts and feelings. Amazing. So deep, real, and seems like he has found his way to let his artistic expression reveal what his soul has been through. And finally, it's reaching the surface. It's a reality of life that should never be locked up. Thanks for sharing, and I can't wait to hear more from you. You are so talented with expressing your art. So thank you, Just Nina. As we wrap things up, we want to let our listeners know that we are grateful that you've taken the time to tune in. We hope you're enjoying the poetry shared here, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast and share it with others. If you would like to support You're the Poet and what we are doing here, we have set up a patron site at buymeacoffee.com/you'rethepoet. Thank you for your support as we continue to grow. After some feedback and questions about You're the Poet merchandise, we have set up an online store where fans of the podcast can grab some merch, including hats, mugs, t-shirts, and a coaster. You can find a link on our website, podcast, and social media pages, or directly at your-the-poet.printify.me. Help support the podcast and share your love of poetry with the world. If you've written any poetry and you want to share it here, whether you just have an interest in poetry, consider yourself an amateur poet, or are a professional poet with published works, contact us to be a guest on a future episode. Please check out our website and various social media outlets to keep up to date with You're the Poet. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and our website, you'rethepoet.com. Until next time, Phil, thanks for joining us.
Anytime.
Brandon, thank you for being our guest.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, guys. Goodbye.